Hi, I'm Laura Christensen,
And I'm
and
Susie Flory.
and we are going to be co-teaching the career growth track at Mount Hermon in 2018. We're super excited to be there. We thought that we would just give you a quick little introduction and tell you a little bit about ourselves and what you're going to be learning during our major morning track. As I mentioned, I'm Laura Christensen, and I come from a background of writing. I started my career as a high school English and journalism teacher, and during the decade or 11 years that I taught, I always had this dream inside my heart. Instead of grading other people's writing, I wanted to do my own writing. So I started my own freelance writing career back in 1993 and have been writing professionally ever since. I'll turn it over to you, Susie.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be part of the career growth track because it's brand new at Mount Hermon. So Laura and I have had a lot of fun figuring out what to do for this track. And I too did other things before I became a professional writer. So I worked as a journalist at a newspaper in my 20s and had a blast. And then I took a pause from that so I could have children and be a stay-at-home mom for a few years. And then I became an English, high school English teacher, and had a blast with that. But it completely wore me out, and I could not really pursue my dream to become a writer. And I also, ever since I was a little girl, wanted to be a writer, but had no idea how to do it. And then when I finally achieved my dream and I had my first book published in my late 30s, I had no idea what to do after that. So this class is kind of what to do maybe after you have that first publication or that first blog online.
Yeah, I would say for me, blogging was kind of the catalyst to how I transformed from writing as a hobbyist to writing for business. Now, I mentioned that I'd been writing a lot of magazine articles and newspaper articles, and I published some books and contributed to several others during the time I was doing a lot of freelance writing. But then I morphed into doing digital marketing on behalf of other writers and speakers and entrepreneurs who wanted to further their writing business or their writing ministry. And that for me actually happened at Mount Hermon. I was teaching a workshop on blogging back in my early days of blogging. And somebody came up to me after that workshop and said, you know, you're pretty good at this blogging thing and you're good at explaining it to us in language that normal people can understand. Have you ever thought about doing that for a business? And I thought, huh, well, no, I hadn't up until that point, but it sounded really appealing to me. And what I discovered after writing magazine articles and books was that I love being behind the scenes, equipping other writers to further the message that God has given them. That's where I'm at this point in my career. So my writing and marketing careers continue to evolve, and I'm now doing it as a full-time business, doing the actual digital marketing part of it as a full-time business. What about you, Susie? What was your catalyst that kind of got you into thinking about writing from a business perspective?
Well, like a lot of writers do, I started out wanting to write lots of different things. I wanted to write children's books. I wanted to write ministry, kind of helping type books. I wanted to write novels. I wanted to write a blog. I wanted to write magazine articles, and the list goes on. I had all these things I wanted to do because they were all things that I loved to read myself and that had had a huge impact on me. And as I began to try different things, I started to see that I was better at some things than others. And then the next step was, what was I actually making a paycheck on? So there were things that I could do that I never made any money on. And then there were some things where I could see I could fill a need and I could actually make a paycheck. So as I would begin to look back over my year of writing, as I progressed, I could see, okay, this is where I'm making a little bit of money. And maybe if I put more of my energy and focus into that, and get better at that, I can make a little more money. And I was able to, over the course of a few years, become a full-time writer, which is a challenge. It is a challenge, but it can be done. And the other thing I found is that typically you do different things to earn a paycheck. So you kind of learn what is your kind of interest level in these different kinds of writing and communicating. What are you best at, and what are the market needs? And so you begin to kind of create these multiple, people call it multiple streams of income.
Yes.
So I still kind of operate on that principle, but you kind of meet this point where your interest and passion for certain kinds of writing dovetails with the market need. And that takes a little bit of time, energy, and also guidance. So Laura and I have made every mistake in the book. We will tell you some of our very best, most horrible horror stories at the track at Mount Hermon. And we're doing this so that we can make the mistakes and you don't have to. So we want to kind of share what's worked for us, what has not worked for us, and tell you some kind of fun horror stories along the way.
I don't know how fun they are. They're horrible horror stories.
Yeah, yes. And so then you can think back to what happened to us, and you can skip those little horror stories for your own career. So, Laura, tell us a little bit about the structure, because it's a little bit different than anything you and I have done before, and we're super excited about it.
Yeah, we're really excited. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through just briefly some of the things that we'll be covering during each session of the track. There are going to be 5 morning sessions, and we meet all morning long from 9 to noon on Saturday. Sunday's a shorter day because there's a worship service, and then Monday. And so 2 sessions each morning. During the first session on Saturday, we're going to be talking about exactly what Susie and I have been chatting about during the last few minutes, which is getting into that business mindset, thinking of doing writing as a business. And then during the second session on Saturday, we're going to be covering the art of the start. Now, Susie, that was your idea for a session title. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? It has to do with business planning.
Yeah, for sure. That's how I got started, actually, with the business mindset. It was a good friend of mine, and I read a book called The Art of the Start, and it was really kind of the audience for that book, the target reader, was Silicon Valley entrepreneurs and startups. So we decided that we were entrepreneurs, that we were creating startups with our writing businesses, and that we were actually going to create a little mini business plan. So we met at Starbucks. I had my first ever cup of coffee, a white mocha, which started me on a lifelong addiction to coffee. And we created this business plan. So that's where that comes from. And one thing I wanted to add, Laura, before we go any further, is that when we talk about writing, we're not just talking about writing books.
Oh, no.
We're talking about any kind of communication. So whether you're primarily a speaker, a blogger, a magazine writer, a book writer, maybe you're an editor, a coach, or you write for your business already, but any of those kinds of writing qualify for this track. So it's for communicators, not just book writers.
Yes.
We don't want to limit our audience at all.
Or any type of entrepreneur and people that are in ministry. In my business as a digital marketer, I work with people across a wide range of different industries, including writing and speaking and nonprofit ministry. So we're equipped to cover, we can cover all the bases.
And we'd love for you to come with a mindset that you're an entrepreneur and that this is a startup.
Yes, definitely. So as Susie mentioned, we will be talking a little bit about business planning and kind of giving you the ground floor. If you haven't ever done a business plan before, it doesn't have to be super detailed, and it's not like going to be 20 or 50 pages long, but just kind of the basics of what you need to do to plan your writing business. And during our Sunday session, we're going to be talking about foolproof financial strategies. So very practical steps for the working writer. Things that are a bit scary and overwhelming for a lot of us, like, do I need to hire a CPA or a business manager? Or what do I do about the business license? What type of business license should I get? How do I budget? Just all of those things to kind of help you get up and running as a writer and get your business up and running.
And this is going to be such a great topic because I hate money. It scares me, and I wish I never had to deal with it. And I basically also have no business background. So I'm kind of the poster child for being able to do this while being really pretty incompetent and unprepared at it.
Yeah, and that brings me to the thought of part of planning your business is hiring the right people to help you. When you run a writing business, you have to be willing to invest money in that business to keep it going. And there are certain things that we're not good at doing. I'm not good at the money and the budgeting part of it either. Fortunately, my husband was a high school math teacher for many years, and he loves doing budgets, and he loves balancing the books, and he loves sending out paychecks and bringing in the money and going to the bank and all that kind of stuff. And so he's my business manager for my business, which is awesome. So I don't have to worry about it. So I actually pay him a salary. He works for me. So it's a good deal. He's available 24/7 too. Another session we're going to be doing on Monday, 2 sessions. One is on building your team, partnerships, people, and PR. So we're going to be talking about really good people that you can team up with. This is not something that you do in a vacuum. You don't run your writing business alone. And there are a whole bunch of excellent people that you can team up with, either people that are in a mastermind group with you or a critique group, or people that you're paying, or people who pay you to help them. So we'll talk a lot about the people, and we're going to talk some about the marketing aspect of your business. My favorite part is how to get up and running professionally with your business.
This idea of collaborating and knowing when to ask for help and how to get it is huge for writers because we tend to be kind of introverts working alone at our desks. But we need to know when to ask for help and how to work together with other people. And since I've learned that and kind of practiced it, it has made writing so much fun and so much better. And I've had so much more success because I'm working with friends. And there's nothing better in this life than to be able to do work in ministry with your friends.
Yes, for sure. And then our final session on Monday, we're going to be talking about practical productivity tips. And this is fun. This will be a fun one. How to organize your office, what kind of technology and equipment that you might need, your favorite writing tools, like what kind of pen feels good in your hand, that sort of thing. So we have just tons and tons of ideas that we'd love to share with you. And then as an added bonus, we have afternoon sessions as well. And Susie's going to talk a little bit about our mini mastermind sessions in the afternoons.
Yeah, and these are not mandatory, right, Laura? This is something that they can choose to go to.
Yes, they're optional.
They have to go, yeah. But we're going to run these as a very kind of interactive group. And both Laura and I have been part of groups where we've been able to do this. And the mastermind process is the idea that a group of peers are meeting together. They each have different needs, missions, visions. They write about different things. They're doing different things with their communication activities. But the idea is that you're meeting with people who can help you solve a problem. And so a lot of times in your writing, in your marketing, in your ministry, in your business, in your startup, you have problems or issues that crop up, just areas maybe where you feel stuck and you're not sure how to move forward, or something that's confusing or frightening. And I was able to do this with a group of friends this summer. I have a writing project I really want to do that's, God has laid on my heart, but I'm really scared to move forward on it. And I just got incredible encouragement and insight from them in the space of just a few minutes. So a mini mastermind is going to be Laura and I together. Laura kind of, specializing in marketing a platform, me kind of specializing more in writing and communicating and publishing. And we're going to give you a chance to just tell us a little bit about yourself, your project, your business, your platform, and picking an area where you feel a little stuck or confused or frightened, or you just need some help, insight, wisdom on how to move forward, how to take that next step with what God is calling you to do. So that's what a mini mastermind is. The cool part is we're all listening in. So the whole group, however many people, 6, 8, 10 people, maybe it's going to be more, we're not sure, is listening in. And they are also perhaps giving a suggestion but also soaking in kind of what you're learning as we go through this process. It's not scary. It's actually, I don't know, it's hard to describe, Laura. How would you describe kind of the mastermind process?
Well, I think you've described it really well. The one I would just add that we'll probably set a timer or something, just so that, because we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to participate and that no one's really dominating the conversation when we have those mastermind sessions. And it'll be a small group session. So everyone will participate, and then people will have a set amount of time to share whatever challenge or struggle you might be facing that you need some input on. So our goal is, as a group, to help each other get over those hurdles and challenges that we're facing so we can move forward with our writing businesses.
Right, right. And hopefully just encourage you, and that you'll just come away feeling a sense of, I can do this.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with the best kind of coaching relationships, is you just get a renewed sense of energy and courage. And so Laura and I will be praying for you for that. And we'd love for you to kind of be thinking about what you might want to talk about in these mini mastermind sessions. There's going to be 2 of them.
Yes. So there will be Saturday afternoon from 4:30 to 5:30 and Monday afternoon from 4:30 to 5:30. And I don't know what you're doing, Susie, but I'm also going to be taking some one-on-one appointments with people. And I believe there's a faculty reception Friday afternoon when the conference first opens, where people can come on by and sign up for one-on-one coaching, critiquing, whatever you want to call it, just one-on-one meetings with us. So if you need specific one-on-one coaching on something having to do with your website or your blog or your social media marketing, your email marketing, anything having to do with online marketing, I would be happy to meet with you one-on-one for those appointments as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the reception, because that's a good time too to come up to Laura or I if you're trying to figure out if this track is right for you.
Right.
And so we'll probably be hanging out there together. You can see us and just come up and ask us, if you think that this track might be the best one for you. We'd be happy to just discuss that with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're really looking, like Susie said, we're praying for you, and we're really looking forward to meeting you at Mount Hermon for the Career Growth Track in 2018.
Yeah, and one last thing I wanted to add about the morning sessions, we'll definitely have plenty of coffee breaks and chocolate breaks. So don't feel like we're going to be sitting for hours as Laura and I, share all of our wisdom. We love interaction. We want this to be practical, and we want this to meet your needs. So it's not like we're sharing, the 10 tips that are going to send you into the stratosphere in your career. This is like a working group of writers and communicators trying to figure all of this confusing stuff out. And we're still trying to figure it out as well. We haven't arrived in all of these areas. No. But we just can't wait to meet you and hear more about what you are doing with your writing and your communicating.
Thank you for joining us.
And we'll see you very soon.
Bye-bye.